Imagine a world 60 million years ago, long before cities, before written language, before anything we would recognize as modern life. The Earth is hotter, wetter, and far more dangerous. Dense rainforests stretch endlessly under a heavy, humid sky. Giant insects buzz through the air, crocodile-like monsters lurk in the rivers, and towering trees block out the sun. In this brutal world lives one of the most terrifying predators ever to exist, Titanoboa, a snake so massive it redefines the meaning of fear. Now imagine fragile prehistoric humans, or early human ancestors, somehow forced into a deadly encounter with this living nightmare. This is not just a fight for survival, it is a clash between intelligence and raw, unstoppable power. Titanoboa was no ordinary snake. Stretching up to 42 feet long and weighing over a ton, it was longer than a school bus and heavier than a small car. Its body was thick, muscular, and built entirely for domination. Unlike venomous snakes that rely on poison, Titanoboa killed through pure strength. Once it wrapped its coils around prey, escape was impossible. Each breath the victim exhaled was their last, as the snake tightened its grip with crushing force. Its jaws could unhinge wide enough to swallow massive animals whole, including crocodiles that today would sit comfortably at the top of the food chain. Prehistoric humans, on the other hand, were not apex predators. They were small, vulnerable, and physically weak compared to the monsters around them. They had no metal weapons, no armor, no modern technology. Their greatest advantage was not strength or speed, but intelligence. Early humans survived because they learned to observe, adapt, and cooperate. Fire, simple tools, and communication were their lifelines in a world that wanted them dead. Against Titanoboa, brute force alone would mean instant death. If such a battle were to occur, it would never begin face to face. Titanoboa was an ambush predator, silent and patient. It would wait near water sources, where animals came to drink. Prehistoric humans would be constantly on edge, knowing that a single wrong step could mean being dragged into the coils of death. The fear alone would shape their behavior. They would learn to avoid certain areas, watch the water closely, and move in groups for protection. But desperation changes everything. Imagine a scenario where humans are forced into Titanoboa's territory, perhaps during a drought or while tracking prey. The first encounter would be sudden and horrifying. A massive coil bursts from the undergrowth, seizing one of the group before anyone can react. Screams echo through the jungle as bones snap and breathing stops within seconds. The humans learn, in the most brutal way possible, what they are up against. From that moment on, the conflict becomes psychological. Humans begin to study the monster. They notice patterns, where it hunts, when it moves, how it reacts to noise and fire. Fire becomes their most powerful weapon. Titanoboa, like modern snakes, would likely fear flames. Torches and controlled fires could be used to keep it at a distance, forcing it out of hiding or blocking escape routes. A direct attack would still be nearly suicidal. Even wounded, Titanoboa could kill multiple humans in seconds. So the strategy would shift toward traps. Deep pits covered with leaves, sharpened wooden stakes, and coordinated attacks from a distance using spears and thrown rocks. It would take perfect timing, teamwork, and immense courage. One mistake would mean death. The moment of confrontation would be chaos. The snake, enraged and threatened, would strike with terrifying speed. Its tail alone could knock a human unconscious. Spears would pierce its thick scales, drawing blood but not stopping it. Immediately, the ground would shake as it thrashed, trees snapping under its weight. Humans would scatter, regroup, and attack again, driven by pure survival instinct. If humans won, it would not be a clean victory. Many would die. Those who survived would be traumatized, forever marked by the battle. But the psychological impact would be enormous. Defeating a creature like Titanoboa would cement the idea that intelligence and cooperation could overcome even the most powerful forces of nature. It would become legend, passed down through generations as a warning and a symbol of human resilience. However, if Titanoboa won, and realistically, it often would, the jungle would reclaim the bodies without a trace. Life would go on as it always had, with humans remaining cautious prey rather than conquerors. Nature, at this point in history, still held absolute control. This imagined battle represents something deeper than a simple fight. It symbolizes the turning point in Earth's history, when intelligence slowly began to rival raw physical dominance. Titanoboa ruled through strength, size, and fear. Humans survived through learning, memory, and unity. Over millions of years, that difference would reshape the planet. In the end, the deadliest battle in ancient history is not about who would win a single fight. It is about survival itself. Titanoboa was the ultimate predator of its time, perfectly adapted to its world. Humans were not the strongest, fastest, or deadliest, but they were adaptable. And in the long run, adaptability is the most dangerous weapon of all. This clash, whether real or imagined, reminds us just how close humanity once was to extinction, and how thin the line was between being hunted and becoming the hunters. In a world ruled by monsters, humans learned to outthink fear itself, and that is the true legacy of the deadliest battle in ancient history.